Hello and welcome to another episode of Allegedly NYC. I'm Nomi Ruiz.
And I'm Eva Sanjurjo.
And we are your go-to girls for all things NYC and beyond. Today on Allegedly, Grimes bounces mid-set at Barclays Center. Kim Kardashian spooks Taylor Swift. Sex talk goes public. And we are joined by a very special guest, DJ and producer Eli Escobar.
Super excited about that.
We are so excited to have Eli.
I know. I got a crush today. Looking at it. Yay!
We are officially supported by Wine and Spirit.
Yes.
So let's jump right into our wine of the week.
Okay. Ooh. Perfect for the summertime. Okay, we're gonna have a rosé today, girl.
Ooh, that's new.
Tis the season. Clearly. This is called Apatique. It's a rosé, 2014. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit about this. It's supposed to be. It's a medium dry.
So she's
rosé.
Almost wet.
She's almost wet. Not quite. You didn't finish.
Maybe.
So with this one, we can have the best summer dishes. We could have this with a light pasta, a light salad, grilled fishes, especially light cooked shellfish, and of course, a cheese.
Always a cheese.
Always a cheese.
Seafood and cheese.
Yeah, it's perfect for hot weather drinking.
Speaking of hot weather, their neighborhood is really, really loud tonight. It's summertime. We're in Bushwick.
Fire, girl.
So if you hear any atmosphere noise,
blame the neighbors.
we're just keeping it real.
We're just keeping it super real.
I also want to say we apologize for our delay with putting up this podcast.
Yes.
I got a little under the weather this weekend. I'm still healing my voice.
She's been drinking her green teas.
Yes. So
she's been on it.
I guess we're going to get into some tea. Before that, we want to say we know everyone's already aware of what went down in Orlando.
Awful.
And we're not going to rehash that or go into the details of that incident.
No.
But our hearts go out to everyone who was affected by that.
Absolutely.
And I think we all were affected by that. So
completely affected and mortified.
yeah. But a lot of
horrifying
conversations happened after.
Yeah.
After that. So
yeah, it sparked up a lot of conversation and wounds and nostalgia, even for us. And even last week we were talking about how we used to go to Crash, and you were kids, you being silly and fun, and it's a Saturday night, you've had cocktails, you're with your friends, and something like that happens. You just don't, you take advantage. You not take advantage, but it's more so you never expect something like a night like that to end like that.
no, never ever.
Awful.
And we never should.
Never.
Stay strong and maintain your safe spaces.
Absolutely.
So after the incident in Orlando, Nick Jonas made an appearance at the Stonewall Vigil, and he was accused of queer baiting.
What does that mean?
Well, so New York showed solidarity last week,
Right.
when thousands gathered at Stonewall.
Yes.
And Stonewall is widely known as a historic location,
yes,
where trans people, drag queens, and other bar patrons, they fought back against police harassment.
Yes.
And they kickstarted the Stonewall riots,
Yeah.
which is now one of the most important events in the gay liberation movement.
Major one.
Yeah.
The big kickoff.
Yeah. The bar has been designated as a national historic landmark.
Yes. I go there Mondays for bingo.
Didn't you go there and you said bingo?
And I didn't win.
You didn't even have bingo?
I was drunk. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, I won. She's like, no, you didn't, bitch.
She's like, girl, don't waste
Sit
my
down.
time.
Yeah. I was so wasted.
So last week at the Vigil, which eventually turned into a spontaneous march.
Yeah.
There was a sea of rainbow flags, candles,
It was
smartphones
gorgeous. Yeah.
lit up. All the names of the victims were read out loud. After each name, everyone said presente and rest in power.
Rest in power. I like that.
A lot of the people were Latin, from the Latin community. More than half were Puerto Rican.
Girl.
Governor Cuomo was there.
Okay.
Bill de Blasio was there. The NYPD Commissioner Bill Bratton was there.
Good.
Shelby Chestnut was there. Several openly gay members of the New York City Council were there.
Wow. It was a big crowd.
Yeah. Actor and singer Titus Burgess sang a rendition of Somewhere from West Side Story.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And Nick Jonas also gave an emotional speech.
Good for him.
He began to address the crowd, telling them that his heart was broken after hearing the news. And he noted that he grew up in New York City and he has many LGBT friends. And his father, who was a minister from Jersey, he said, shaped his view that love is love and we are all equal. And that no matter who you are, where you're from, or where you're going in your life, you have the right to love and be loved.
Well, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, after his speech, and also during his speech, people viewed it as insensitive queer baiting.
What?
In the Huffington Post, someone wrote an article called "Dear Nick Jonas, there's a way to be a straight ally," and that wasn't it. James Michael Nichols, he went on to write, I don't want to draw too many conclusions about Jonas and his team's intention with this aggressive queer baiting, but one thing is certain. This is not a time for straight allies to take up space, especially if you're an ally who just dropped an album 3 days ago.
Oh, God.
Justin Moran also, he wrote something for Bullet, and he shared similar sentiments. He said, you could make the weak argument here about the importance of allies like Nick Jonas, but this visual was in response to an LGBTQ hate crime, the biggest mass shooting in American history, which took place during a Latinx night. So having all-American Jonas stand before us and express how he's humbled and grew up on Broadway was a total insult to the brilliant minds of those we lost.
I'm lost for words for that, because I don't think we should nitpick who has to say something that comes from the heart at the moment. This is not, yes, it did happen in the gay community and it happened in such a horrible, violent way, but I think it affected all of us.
Yeah.
We affected all of us. So I don't think you should criticize someone for having a heart and having a reaction towards it. Everyone has a right to feel sad about this.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know him. I don't know Nick Jonas, but
yeah.
I think a lot of people from all walks of life were affected by this.
Definitely.
And if he had something heartfelt to say, and he's done Broadway and he's done a lot of like queer friendly roles. So obviously he's in touch with that community. So for him for someone to say he's queer baiting, I feel like can we not do this right now?
Totally.
This is not the time we to criticize anybody. Like, something really bad happens, and this is not the time to like pigeonhole somebody, or not pigeonhole it.
And we need everyone's support. And I think the whole concept of moving forward, or the idea that we need to embrace moving forward, is equality and breaking down labels and stereotypes and not judgment shouldn't come from either way, No,
I mean, it was something that he felt. Everyone has felt complete sadness and fear, and this was a way where everyone came together. Didn't matter everyone came together.
Yeah. Well, Nick responded by saying, I'm open and comfortable about loving my fan base, gay or straight, because to me there is no difference. It is my fan base. Your sexual preference does not matter to me, and it shouldn't matter to anyone. The goal is acceptance on all levels. That should be the focus. He continued, and he said, I've gone to normal clubs, straight clubs, and I've gone to gay clubs to party with my friends and fans. There's no difference. I have nothing to prove. I'm very comfortable in my own skin, and I'm thankful to have as many close gay friends as I have. People who have been so supportive in my life and have always been there for me.
You know what I find really crazy is like... Even doesn't matter if it's Nick Jonas, if it's anybody, like there's still people that will criticize you from where your sadness and expression comes from. It's just insane to me. Like, this is just someone who had just had something to say. I don't care if it was Nick Jonas. I don't care if it was Burt Reynolds. Like, I don't give a fuck where it came from. It came from someone. He's been
criticized for this for a while now. Like, before this even happened, I know, because he's taken some gay roles. He's spoken about, I don't know, he basically is kind of like James Franco. They say they're not gay, but they
seem fluid,
comfortable with playing gay roles. They're comfortable around gay people. And I think a I don't know, a lot of the gay community they've been criticizing him for a long time already.
For sure.
So this was just like the icing on the cake for them.
Right. And they needed something at the worst time.
Yeah, at the worst time.
It's just like not a time to be criticizing anybody. Like that's just speaking from the heart and coming from a genuine place.
Yeah. I love we're talking about this while there's
bachata in background.
It's like we're trying to get all serious.
Yeah, it was like, listen, it's like boom, boom,
well,
boom, boom,
you know,
boom.
In these situations, there's always tons of shade that arises, which I love. No matter what side it comes from, we love a good piece of shade.
Through sadness and darkness, there's always shade.
So, people were commenting and they said Nick Jonas threw the first brick at Stonewall.
Oh my God.
Someone, while he was making his speech, they yelled, "I love you, Zac Efron."
That's not cool. Jesus Christ.
That's kind of funny, though.
That's a tough crowd. Shit.
I know.
It's like, girl.
I know,
this is like
shady.
a time of peace.
I know.
Let's just come together. No matter. You know what? I'm sorry. You know what? I know we were talking serious, but I didn't get to sip my wine.
Let's do that before
Cheers.
we move forward.
Before tea.
Before tea, there's wine.
Work.
Ooh, that's a bouquet.
Right? It's fruity, girl. This is really fruity.
That's racist.
JK. Oh God, now we're gonna get like bashed by the team.
Well, okay,
right, here we go.
After
tea spilling.
After the Orlando incident, the Anonymous, you know, the cyber activism group Anonymous.
Yes.
They hacked ISIS's Twitter account and gave it a fabulous gay makeover.
It's awesome.
The group, they hacked into hundreds of pro-ISIS Twitter accounts and gave them all gay makeovers.
That's fucking awesome.
A hacker named Wowchala Ghost compromised several ISIS accounts and changed their photos to rainbow-inspired images.
God, I wish I was a hacker.
Girl.
I
would never see you.
Ever.
I'd be like, what are you doing?
I'd be so fat eating fucking Krispy Kreme, hacking bitches all day. I'd be such a fat hacker.
I'm like, someone tweeted something shady at my ex.
I was like, that's funny. I was talking to you with a full mouth of Krispy Kreme, and my mouse would have like icing on it. Because I won't move because I'll be eating Krispy Kreme and hacking people.
You should join Anonymous.
I'm so in.
They also sent out tweets of love and support for those lost in the Orlando massacre. They also issued a statement which said, "I did it for the lives lost in Orlando. Daesh," which is the name of this member from ISIS, "have been spreading and praising the attack. So I thought I would defend those who were lost. The taking of innocent lives will not be tolerated. Our actions are directed at jihadist extremists. Many of our own group of hackers are Muslim, and we respect all religions that do not take innocent lives."
Well, I could agree with them on that.
Yes.
Man, I wish I got. I'm still up on the whole hacking thing.
I know we got to take some courses.
Is there like a learning annex?
You know what? I think you should just change your Tinder profile.
Ooh.
And just like pretend you're like a cyber girl, and you'll just meet a bunch of dudes that hack.
Like a bunch of nerds.
Yes.
Oh my God, it'd be like a siren, but for nerds.
You'll be like the Angelina Jolie of what was that movie?
Which one?
Oh, was it called Hackers?
Oh my God, Hackers!
Yes.
That's one of my favorite movies.
We'll like rollerblade and like date nerds.
Oh my God, I'm totally get like a cute little shortcut.
I hacked you.
I hacked you.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I hacked you.
Oh my God, I love it.
All right, so next up, Nicki Minaj feels tons of heat.
Oh, here we go.
After blocking a fan who asked her to say something about the Orlando situation.
That's random and weird.
She came under fire for blocking a fan for criticizing her silence after the incident at Pulse. The fan specifically called out Nicki after using Twitter to promote her new song while not commenting on the events at all.
That's tacky.
They tweeted her and they said, "I'm kind of offended that Nicki could tweet about a song but can't acknowledge the shootings in Orlando." They then kept going and said, "You plan on tweeting about the tragedies that took place this past weekend, or And then they continued to tweet and said, Nicki unfollowed me because I called her out for promoting her song and not even acknowledging the tragedies.
Can I say something though?
Yeah.
Here's my thing. I think that a lot of pop culture, and especially a lot of female young artists, they are surrounded by the gay community and use a lot of gay pop culture into their language, like lingo. They all do it, like lingo, fashion, everything, even gay slang, and she uses that hardcore. Okay?
Definitely.
So the fact that she has, she calls all her gay fans Ken dolls and
exactly
Barbie doll, Ken dolls and Barbie dolls. The fact that you have such a huge gay following and you don't say anything, it's just it didn't have to be like a paragraph of things.
Didn't she have a MAC lipstick out?
Yes,
for their campaign,
for the campaign,
the AIDS campaign,
the AIDS campaign. Yeah. So for somebody who's like allegedly all for gay community, gay culture, they probably picked that gay pink for her. The fact that she didn't maybe say a little something and just went straight for business. I mean, just have this is your time to maybe see who you are, like maybe to see if you have a soul.
Yeah.
Just want to see if you have a soul. Just checking. Hello? Is this thing on?
Is there a soul inside?
1 2 1 2. Is there a soul inside your pussy?
Well, another fan threw shade at her, and they said Nicki Minaj has addressed the Orlando shooting the same amount of times that she's given an acceptance speech for a Grammy.
Work. Ooh, that's good.
Oh, I love that.
Oh,
shit.
Man, you know what? Where there's tragedy brings reading.
Oh, Nicki, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind.
Well,
anyway,
that's you know what. I love a shady fan like the rest of everybody. But I'm the fan side on this one.
Well, the thing is, it would also be cool because she's in the rap community,
right?
Hip hop community, and it's like the hip hop community. There's a really, really large debate right now. I mean, it's not that large. That's the thing that's kind of frustrating.
Right.
It's like the hip hop community supporting the LGBT community, and she's one of the people that could actually bridge that gap.
For shiz.
Like she can have that power. She has that color to her. She has the language, the access to those people.
Yeah.
And this could be an opportunity to move things forward. After every tragedy, we always try to find a way to make something good out of it, just to make it seem, at least, like, make their lives seem like, worth it, make their souls seem like they can live through another movement.
Exactly.
And she has that power right now.
She has that platform.
Yeah.
She's not using it.
No, but you know what Kid Cudi is?
Oof.
Because he's a rapper.
Yeah, I live.
He's a very popular rapper.
He's gorgeous.
He's worked with Kanye, a slew of others.
Everybody.
And he actually slammed homophobes.
Gorge.
After the hip hop communities just casted a shadow of silence over this whole incident.
Which is really fucked up, by the way.
Yeah, I mean,
come on.
Hip hop, girl. So after the attacks, dozens of celebrities took to social media to voice their support, of course. Which included Grammy-winning rapper Kid Cudi. Mm-hmm. He shared his heartfelt words on Twitter. He tweeted, "I wish there was more I could do than tweet, build awareness, and donate money. That's not enough. Not for me." After his tweet, he began to receive homophobic reactions from his alleged fans,
Right.
He responded directly to them, and he encouraged all bigots to unfollow him. Mm-hmm. And he tackled the issue of homophobia in the hip-hop community. He went on to tweet, "If you are an insecure homophobe and have an issue with gays and equality, unfollow me now. Thank you."
Good.
He responded to some specific Twitter trolls by saying, "God hates no one. Peace, chump. We don't need you."
Amen. I like him.
Yeah. He said he went on to say the hip hop community is the least outspoken about gay rights, and I'm gonna go out of my way to change that. Fellow rapper Ty Dolla $ign co-signed his sentiments with retweets. It's interesting, the whole, like, this is bringing up that conversation about hip hop meeting LGBTQ community. Like, we love hip hop too. We actually are one of the biggest supporters of hip hop.
Fuck yeah.
Like,
always.
In that Latin club, they're listening to hip hop.
Of course they're listening. It's fucking Saturday night. You're listening to hip hop, you're listening to house music, and you're listening to whatever J-Lo came out with that week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's heavy. It's heavy in the gay community. So
yeah. I mean, even because I'm releasing the mixtape, which is I'm going back into my hip hop, which I started off making hip hop. When I first met Nomi, that's all she listened to was hip hop. That's why it's weird when we started becoming obsessed with each other, because I was such a new waver. I know.
I was like, "Do you like The Cure?"
I was like,
she's like, "What's that?"
I'm
like Depeche Mode.
You're depressed? Don't get depressed, girl.
No, you could remove that mole.
She was wearing Doc Martens.
I was wearing Doc Martens.
You were wearing
a
Doc
choker,
Martens.
And you were wearing big baggy jeans.
I was wearing big baggy jeans.
And a crop top.
Wide leg.
Yeah.
Which I eventually changed to cat suits, and Ava eventually changed to polys.
See, things change.
They totally change. But I wanted to bring up that topic about hip hop and the LGBT community.
For sure.
Just because I was asked recently in interviews about that, and it never occurred to me. Mm-hmm. I just forgot that there's that whole topic exists, especially now when like queer culture is so in the mainstream. And it's
and the thing is, when someone's called out for being queer in hip hop, you are fucking silenced or shunned.
I remember when I was first promoting my first record, and I was going out for CMJ in New York and passing out demos. I had a promoter.
Yeah, I was with you, girl.
Yeah. I had a promoter from Miami would come in, and he would help me out, and he would like.
Oh, I remember. He was cute. Yeah.
And then we kind of started having a thing together. Remember?
Yeah, I remember.
So I was like, shit, I have to tell him
your tea.
My tea.
Yeah.
Good thing we weren't in Britain. I would have been arrested.
We were like, girl, here we go again. Just give me 10 minutes. Did you leave your ATM card?
I could only say I had my period for so long.
That's right. I remember that shit. It's like, no, I can't.
It's like, girl, how long does a period last?
I'm like, girl, 5 days.
I was like, fuck. And on the 6th day,
she was
I spilled my tea. And then he told me, this sticks with me always. He said, wow, you should have told me that, because you made me look like a fraud to all the people that I've tried to share your music with.
Ew.
He's like, I've built a community of people that respect me and trust the artists that I represent. And now I feel like everyone that I've given your music to is going to think that I'm a fraud if this ever was to be exposed.
Where's he now?
He's fat in Miami.
There we go. Bitch.
Oh, God.
You're a fraud. Is that the ocean, or is that my pants?
I think it's the rosé, darling. The rosé, not Jose. All right. So, before we get into the next pot of tea, I had a question for you, because after all these conversations that have been arising, there's this new term that I haven't heard before. To me, it's new.
Right.
Latinx.
Excuse me? Latinx.
It's like, instead of saying Latino or Latina, they say, or Latin, they say Latinx, which I guess is for the queer community.
I don't like it. I don't like it. It just sounds like I caught something. I'm like, I got a Latinx. Do you have codeine? I got a little Latinx in my throat. You have something for that? No, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I am like simple. I like spick. I'm just kidding.
I mean,
I like Spanish.
It's just
I like
Latina. For me, it's like, I'm all about like breaking down labels, and this is
hate
another
fucking
fucking label.
I just don't need any more, to be honest. I really don't.
No, it's like,
I'm done with it.
Us.
Stop it. Like,
can we just say the Latin community? The queer Latin community, or I guess they want to, I don't know, just everyone just feel included, especially in Latin culture. Latin people are
we do another category? Like, we have enough categories.
Well, it's funny because I tried to look up like the official definition of Latinx.
And how'd that go?
And it was all Latin porn.
Really? Well, I'm gonna do that research later.
Literally, it's all Latin porn,
Really?
Latin porn stars. And like, okay, now you're gonna have little kids looking up Latinx. They're like, oh, so you're talking about the Latin porn community?
How do you spell that again?
Oh my God, I can't right now.
I know. I just don't need one less category in my life, to be honest. Ooh.
All right,
we're not done yet.
Steaming up.
I can't.
I actually need some tea. My fucking voice.
Girl, your voice is...
I apologize for the raspiness and my non-joyous, boisterous laughter. All right.
Okay. Well, it's like, excuse me for not being amazing today. I'm just 80% amazing instead of my full 100.
Totally. That's exactly what I meant. You know, Ava knows me so well. So Kim Kardashian has spooked and spilled Taylor Swift's tea all over the place. And it makes me love her even more than
my
ever.
God. I will let you have that one.
I love Kim. I love a Kardashian.
You live
moment.
a Kardashian. Me, I was like, where are the Osmonds? I don't count with this.
Oh, I can't.
I'm joking.
Yeah, I think they're doing their damn thing. And they're fucking gorgeous.
Enough.
Okay. So by now we all know Kanye West has already... Hey, they have black hair.
You relate to that.
That's about it.
That's it.
They're curvy.
You're a skinny bitch. But you got a fat ass. and a rack.
By now we all know Kanye...
Oh, do you remember that one time? One time, Nomi and I were walking down the street, and this girl was like looking at us hard, and I was like, either she wants to fuck us or she wants to fight us. I wasn't sure. So we walk by, and she's like, skinny bitch. She's like, and Nomi's like, girl, you heard what she said? She was like, girl, I have never in my life been called a skinny bitch. She was talking to you. She's like, really? I'm like, girl, I am a curvy bitch. You are the skinny bitch.
That bitch.
No, now she just got angry.
So upset.
Okay, going back to these Kardashians.
For some reason, that also reminds me of another story. Remember when we were at Spa?
Uh-huh. Oh.
And I was walking through the club. We were walking together, like hand in hand.
Yeah.
And some guy tried to kick it to me.
Yes.
And I just ignored him. And Ava, of course, she's such a bitch. She goes up to him and she says, she's out of your league. And then he smacked Ava's ass so loud,
hard.
like it vibrated through the club.
And I was like, and I didn't say anything because I thought it was funny that he did that. It was
and then
funny.
Ava hooked up with him.
And then we made out. And then we went out.
That was her plan.
And we went out for 6 months. Just kidding.
Okay, can we get to Kim Kardashian and Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
So, okay. You know, Kanye dropped The Life of Pablo, clearly. And he also just dropped like a re-release of it or something. He's
Already?
going to actually be touring. Anyway, we talk about Kanye a lot. I like Kanye.
Keep on going.
So,
I know, I don't mind this music.
Anyway. He dropped the album during his season 3 fashion show at Madison Square Garden.
Right.
So one of the album's tracks was named Famous. And on the track he raps, I feel like me and Taylor Swift might still have sex. Why? I made that bitch famous.
Wank.
So Kanye's camp claimed that Swift approved of the lyrics and even laughed it off on an alleged phone call.
Oh.
Swift's team said that West only called to ask Swift to release the song on her Twitter and was not aware of the I made that bitch famous lyric.
Oh, honey, you didn't listen to it before you're going to put it up?
She said she didn't hear it.
Interesting.
So Swift then slammed Kanye during her Grammy acceptance speech where she said, as the first woman, here we go with the first again, the first woman to win Album of the Year twice. I'm going to do my Becky voice. I want to say to all the young women out there, there are going to be people along the way who try to undercut your success or take credit for your accomplishments and your fame.
I can't stand her.
Well, she went on
and I don't want to say that because, you know, I love everybody. And that's what people find me most annoying because I'm pretty neutral. But that is really fucking annoying. Go on.
Well, I think I did tell you I had a gift for you today.
Oh shit! Do you not play
Maybe
her song,
this is why you find her annoying.
Allow me to highlight some important New York vocabulary words. First word, bodega.
Oh, I want to punch her.
A bodega is a corner store
Remember, I
that's open pretty
you?
much 24 hours most of the time.
I want to rob her.
You can get almost anything in a bodega. Bodegas are our friends.
You know how
Another
bodegas get robbed?
New York City vocabulary word is the word stoop. In the South and pretty much anywhere else, the part of
I wish you could see Emma's face right
that's
now.
in front of your door and your stairs is a lot of the time called a porch, not in New York. Anything that's basically a stairway entry to a dwelling, home, apartment, brownstone, or townhouse is referred to as a stoop.
I want to kill myself. That just made my insides boil.
Girl, I can't with her.
A stoop. You know what I used to do on a stoop?
I want to take her and show her a stoop in Brownsville. Like, let me bring Taylor Swift to a fucking stoop and a bodega.
Bodega.
You want to see a bodega? Let's go to Brownsville to a bodega.
Because I bet that bitch has never bought a quart of water in her fucking life.
First of all, bodega is not a fucking vocabulary word. It's a slang word that Latin people use to describe the deli in the corner.
Another one. Can I have my words back, please, bitch?
Give me my hoop earrings back.
I want my hoops back.
The lip liner.
Lip liner for sure.
And the word bodega.
Yeah. But that nameplate is mine. It actually says Avon. Can you just get it back
to me? And your eyebrows.
And you know what? You're blonde with dark roots. That's mine too.
Yeah, give me back my roots. Because those only exist because we can't afford the fucking bleach.
We couldn't buy a second bottle.
Exactly.
And when it grew out, we still couldn't afford that. Yeah. And we made it a trend.
And then Madonna stole it.
And then Madonna stole it.
Anyway. So Kim Kardashian has finally clapped back in her latest GQ cover story and interview. In the interview, she says, Swift totally approved that. She totally knew that was coming out. She wanted to all of a sudden act like she didn't.
Like a little victim.
According to Kim, Kanye has videographers film every studio session and has the phone call on camera.
Shut it.
She claims that Swift's team sent a letter asking for the footage to be destroyed then after.
Because they want to play her as the little innocent, little peep.
Of course.
Yeah.
She's the champion for every white girl that ever wanted to go to a fucking bodega.
My fucking bodega is doing fucking organic food now. I was so pissed off.
You're like, can I get a Cuban sandwich, please?
Yeah, seriously. I was like, what are these fucking organic chips?
That's like when Ralph was like, we walked to like, it said free range chicken. He's like, what does that mean? They let the chicken run around before they shoot it? I miss him.
We have the book of sit down.
Kim continued and she said it was funny because
fucking Ralph.
Because during the phone call with Taylor Swift, she said, oh my God, this is so cool. So when I get on the Grammy red carpet, all the media is going to think that I'm so against this track. And I'm just going to laugh and say, the joke's on you guys. I was in on it the whole time.
Well, she didn't do that.
And then Kim went on to say, well, I'm like, now, wait, but in your speech, you completely dissed my husband just to play the victim again.
Work. Well, it seems like she might be good at playing that.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you. I'm with you. I pledge allegiance to your ass and the United States of Kardashian.
That is good ass, I do have to say.
Taylor responded and said, her team responded. She said, Kim Kardashian's claim that Taylor and her team were aware of being recorded is not true. She didn't deny it. She said that the fact that they were being recorded, that she knew that she was aware that they were being recorded is not true. She then went on to say that Taylor cannot understand why Kanye West and now Kim Kardashian will not just leave her alone. Leave me alone.
Oh, please, girl. Why don't you get a 40 and at the bodega and drink your problems away? Like on everyone stoop. On a stoop.
Dumb bitch.
I can't stand her.
I swear to God.
And I like I said, I hate saying anything negative.
Allegedly.
Crowd laughs. Exactly. I didn't buy it either. No. But no, I just I hate when people play if it's a victim role or whatever sort of role this is meant to be. It's just ridiculous,
I love like Wendy Williams said. She's like, in my head, she's a mean girl.
She does seem like a... And this whole squad shit, like she rents squads. Like she doesn't know all those people.
Squad.
Like, are
That's
you having
another...
brunch?
Give me my word back.
Yeah, exactly.
The squad was the gang that came to fucking kill my ex-boyfriend's bullshit. It's like, Pito.
Yeah.
That's my brother.
That's your brother.
Pito. Call the kings.
Yeah. Ooh.
Get the squad together.
The squad. Oh.
Squad.
I could bang a squad right now. Anyway,
So let's go on to another white girl of the moment who I love. Is that racist? No, she's white.
Wow.
Grimes.
I
love Grimes.
You do love Grimes. You
I
know
live
what?
for
And,
her.
and honestly, I you kind of put me onto her a little bit more recently, and I definitely
She
liked
keeps
her.
it real. I want to see a fight between Grimes and Taylor Swift.
That'd be dope.
Who do you think would win?
Oh, fucking Grimes.
Clearly Grimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, by the name, her name is Grimes.
I mean,
I would hope she's grimy. Like gets a little
she
dirty.
I love her.
You know, I bet she like will take her 2 legs and wrap her around her neck. That's what I just envisioned in my head. Go on.
She may lick her once and then throw her to the ground.
And then lick her more and then kill her.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
So Grimes recently walked off stage during a show at Barclays Center.
Yeah.
She was opening for Florence and the Machine. Her set was cut short after she walked right off stage after performing World Princess Part 2. Before she walked off, she said, "We just had a really disturbing thing happen to us today. So sorry if my voice is shaking. It's just kind of a fucked up day." Then she added, she had a little trouble keeping it all together during the show.
She didn't tell us?
She didn't. They contacted her team, and the spokesperson said, "Unfortunately, we cannot respond." And recently, she just tweeted and she said, "I will explain what happened at Barclays once I can safely and legally do so."
I hate, it's like when my mother calls, she's like, "Oh, girl, I got the best. You don't even know what happens. I have such gossip." And then she's like, and then she gets call waiting. And then it's just like my sister, she's like, "Oh my God, it's your sister. Let me call you back." I'm like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that to people.
I know.
You can't start
awful.
a story and not finish it. You can't do
feel like
that.
I do that to you too when you're at work.
You do that to me all the time. It's like,
I
girl,
text you.
girl.
I'm like, "Girl, you don't know what just happened." I'm like, but I have to tell you in person. You're like, "Fuck."
I can't handle that. I can't handle that kind of shit. My heart can take so much.
I know, it's so bad.
I hate when people do that shit. My whole family does that because we're so dramatic. So we're like, you never know me. You never know. But I gotta go to get groceries. But when I come back, I'm gonna tell you the full story. I'm like, no, I will order food. This is not, you have to tell me everything now.
So true. It's so true.
You can't do this to us.
Hi. Joining us is New York's own DJ and producer Eli Escobar.
Hello,
Yay.
what's up?
Welcome to Allegedly.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So, okay, how do we officially, because people ask me all the time, is it Eli or Eli?
It's Eli.
Eli. Okay,
You
good.
know that. You know
I know that. But everyone's always like, is it Eli? Then I'm like, have I been saying his name wrong the whole time?
Right.
I question myself. But
No.
then I think about James and he's like, he calls you Eli, so of course.
Yeah, well, my full name is Eli Ser.
Ooh, that's
Oh.
beautiful.
And when I was in kindergarten, I started in the bilingual remember when they used to have bilingual classes?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I started that, and all the Puerto Rican kids in the class couldn't say my name right. And that's when I realized, well, if they can't even say it right, then no one's going to be able to say it right. So I shortened it to Eli, thinking that would be easier. And it hasn't been easier. For some reason,
Never
Eli is
easy.
just the most
I have a problem with
difficult
Ava,
thing.
so I get Ava.
Yeah.
I get all sorts of stuff, and I'm like, it's just three
Yeah.
letters.
I mean, there are people who live in my building that I've been in my building for 15 years.
Yeah.
And there are people who have been there for that amount of time as well who still just can't figure it out. It's just really difficult.
Eli.
I don't know why.
That's so
Eli.
funny. Eli.
Eli.
But they don't even say Eli. They say weird combinations of both, like Eli or
Oh my God,
Ailey.
shut
Oh no.
So,
I get a
anyway,
little
it's
creative.
Ellie.
And then
It's
it
Ellie.
turns to Haley. Hey, Haley. All right, Ellie, you're from New York, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Were you born in, where were you born?
In Manhattan.
Which part?
St. Luke's?
Oh, where's
Nice.
Where's that? I don't know. I'm
that? Where'd
pretty
you grow
sure.
up?
That
So you grew up in...
I spent like a couple of years in the Bronx, and then
Right.
and then
too.
oh yeah,
I'm from the Bronx.
and then I moved to 97th in Amsterdam, which is where I was for the rest of my growing up years.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And when did you get into music?
I mean,
Did you start DJing first or producing first?
I started DJing first.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, to me is sort of a big important thing, because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people now start producing tracks and they're like, well, I'll DJ too, but they suck.
Right.
And I kind of feel like I feel like people who started out as DJs, you can sort of tell sometimes. Not everybody. Anyway, but yeah, when did I get
the thing about being into music, collecting, like kind of.
Yeah,
right.
I started DJing in 1993, but I started collecting records like when I was like 5 years old or 6 years old.
That's so cool.
So that would have been 10 years earlier than that.
Do you remember your first record that you like? Had?
I remember having records like maybe that my mom bought for me or whatever in the house. It was like, I remember like Billy Joel and Sesame Street.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
And like, what else? Like Stevie Wonder and the Beatles, like stuff like that.
Oh,
but then when I was like, I started like selling toys outside my building to get money. So I could
my god, that's
so
cute. I can't.
because all I wanted to do was buy records, and there was 3 stores within 4 blocks of my house. And the Wiz was like my favorite one because you could go downstairs and they had 12 inches.
Oh my god,
I love the Wiz.
So-
I gotta do. I danced in a dance competition and I got a Wiz gift certificate. It was like the best shit I ever got in my life.
Yo, I love the Wiz. The Wiz was really dope, and like it was the way the one around my neighborhood was. They had a whole section for 12 inches, like disco and new wave and hip hop and stuff. So I used to go down there and just stare at everything. I don't really remember the first thing I bought, but it was maybe like
the genre.
It was maybe Roxanne Shantae's Roxanne Shante, Roxanne's Revenge, or Duran Duran Rio, or it's just something around like that time, 83, 84, 85. Yeah.
Sweet.
I remember my first was Samantha Fox.
Really?
Like the
Oh my
cover with the
God.
denim. Would you?
I want to have some fun.
Yes.
Mine was
Naughty
REM.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love R.E.M.
Me too.
Don't be embarrassed. It's not like the most fun first record.
No,
ever.
because it was orange. Like, this one goes out to... I'm like, what am I going through? I'm like 5. Like, why am I so dark?
Wow, that's really early to be so dark.
Yeah, we'll get there.
And of course, I was a slut dancing. I was
You were
like,
like,
what
cut
are
off
you
booty
doing?
shorts.
Did you produce hip hop too?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You like a regret?
So, yeah.
No.
You're ashamed.
I don't want to talk about it.
No, I do.
All right, cool.
It would just sort of was the thing that I was so into around that. It was like 93. When I started trying my hand at that, and it was just my favorite music at the time. So I did it for like, I was in school at the time, upstate, and it was like they had a studio there with a sampler. They had an S950 sampler, a Korg keyboard, Korg M1, and some really ancient computer program. So I learned how to, make beats doing hip hop, like programming drums and all that stuff. And I don't think I was as good as I wasn't making dance music, but it's the foundation. So,
I feel like a lot of producers that do dance music or house music specifically started off in hip hop.
Well, it's
even
funny.
just DJing.
But can I ask you both a question? Because you talked about it recently, and now you're just talking about hip hop. I just find it that some people it's such a hard genre to get into, and although you like feel
Hip-hop?
it, yeah, not genre, like it's very judgy, and it's so like people are very take their hip hop very personal, and I feel like it's a hard nut to crack. And I know that
Like industry-wise.
And, it makes you feel insecure, or you're like not hard enough, you're not good enough, your beats are not strong enough. And like, did you both ever feel that way? Like it making you feel insecure about how the direction that you go in it? Because I know that, both of you started doing hip hop, and then you both got into dance. And I'm just wondering, you're going back into it, and would you consider going back into it? Or is it just like, I just find it to be such a tough crowd. You know what I mean?
I think you're right about a lot of that. I think as a DJ, when I first started DJing parties up at school, and I was playing like hip hop and dance hall and R&B, I'm glad that it was such a tough crowd because I had to learn the hard way that like if you didn't bring it, like people would like stare at you.
Right.
Like what are you like? You play the wrong song. Like
they
back
would stop
then,
dancing and stare at you like really.
Definitely.
Bitch? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And even in the beginning, I didn't really have a big dance hall collection, and I learned really fast that the girls were not trying to hear that. Up in school, you know, and so
like these are the butterfly.
Yeah.
Like,
and I had to learn, and at first I didn't care much for it, but I love it now. Actually, it's like my favorite thing to do on the side is like do dance hall sets. But yeah, like.
But I feel like your sets, even like the stuff you DJ and even produce now, there's still an element or a sense of that like grit that hip hop has.
So people say that to me sometimes. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that's a really good point. But then once I left school and I started DJing, you know, I spent a good like 5 years or more, pretty much just doing hip hop parties in the city,
right.
And I did sometimes feel like I don't really fit in here, you know, like the tempos had gotten really slow since the early 90s, late 80s.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like it was just too much of this like intense masculine energy.
Yeah.
It did get hard.
Yeah, and then and I was playing in places like Vinyl.
Oh,
and I would go into the house music room once I was done, because I would be opening up usually for people. Right. And I was way more attracted to that because it just seemed more positive, more like inclusive.
There was more of that back then too, like different rooms, like a hip hop room and then a house room.
Oh, that was so much fun. Once you sweat out your weave, you're like, all right, I gotta go to another room and like cool down. Exactly. The hip hop room was just doing like a certain sort of slow, like you know, like butterfly, and then exactly the boy
you scope the room. And
yeah,
like, okay,
I really wish that a lot of the clubs that are out now would take notes from that. Like, why would like Output in the Panther Room should have something totally different than what's going on?
Yeah.
That's like a dream.
That would be dope. Because it was fun when you were like, once you like, all right, I need to like switch up my mood a little bit. It was
like, girl, I'll meet you there in 10 minutes.
And don't look for me.
Yeah, don't look for me.
And then you would get an idea, you'd get an insight into how this whole other scene is like, you know, responding to music, how they dance. And it was really amazing. But I don't even know if it's possible now for that to happen. No. Everything's very segregated. Yeah.
Because everyone's very segregated with what kind of look they want in their plays, you know, like the hipsters.
Right, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
I remember when I was getting into dance music, I was like, this whole world was opening. I was meeting all these DJs that were like making dance music, disco and stuff. And I'm like, why are all these straight guys making disco? I was so confused. I was like, what's going on? I was
this is a different room.
I was like, I thought this was just so gay. I'm like, this is so gay.
Well, you know, when I first came home from school and started really getting into the hip hop scene and stuff, a lot of the guys that I was rolling with who were older than me, like Babito, were taking me to record stores and putting me up on disco records and house records, because they came from even a more open-minded era, which was like the late 80s club scene where like everyone danced to house and hip hop, you know, every night. So, it was
like
way
mixed all together.
Yeah, definitely.
So cool.
Because the hip hop was kind of made to dance too. It was also like it wasn't so political. It wasn't so pointed. It was like or aggressive.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Everyone just cut loose, you know?
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Orange. Yeah.
That's why I like Drake. Do you like Drake?
I honestly.
You can leave if you want.
No. I just can't. You know, like when you just want to. You just at one point in your life have to admit that you don't even need to have an opinion on something.
Yes.
Because it's like I'm not gonna. Yeah.
You like?
I'm sure he's good.
That's the best politically correct answer I've ever heard. I'm gonna use that.
I'm gonna use that for when I start running for something.
For mayor of Bushwick.
Oh my God. Of just Jefferson.
You did the, speaking of Babito, didn't you do the soundtrack for their documentary?
Yeah, so you had asked would I ever consider doing hip hop beats again. Yeah. So that was like the only thing that came up recently where I was like, all right, I'll do this, because they asked me to score their documentary, and
that was so dope.
And yeah, and you know, I wasn't gonna say no. Right. So,
of course not.
and at first Bob was like, I don't want hip hop beats because we're gonna have so much hip hop playing throughout the movie. We want the music to be more like jazz or whatever. And I was like, cool. But then as we started going forward, it just kind of ended up being hip hop-y anyway. But I wasn't allowed to sample because they would have to clear stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was really tricky. So I had like, I played a lot of stuff, and then I had like a drummer and a bass player, and then I just sort of sampled stuff they played.
So it sparked up another. Did it spark it something
little
up
bit.
a little bit, like a little old romance sparked up again?
I guess, but the whole thing about that movie is it's all rooted in nostalgia.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like I'll always love the 80s and the early to mid 90s era of hip hop in New York City, especially because it reminds me of being a kid.
Right.
So the music I made, I think, kind of was channeling that era. But hip hop is all about the future, and that's what's so amazing about hip hop. I think is that it's always been so directly connected to the youth, and it changes every year or every 6 months or whatever. And like sometimes the old people just need to get out of the way. I think. Dance music's the opposite, I think.
That's just so true.
I mean, it moves forward, but it's like it also somehow has this timeless quality that if you're really, I think the best producers and the best DJs they know all the music all the way back to the 70s, and there seems to be more of a respect. I mean, like guys like Danny Krivit, who are so like legendary and have such a history, are still like doing the best parties. And
so true.
Anyway, so I feel like it's a little different in dance music than hip hop.
I know, and Hector's DJing soon. We totally got
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, he's DJing Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so insane.
And Hex is like, he'll still whip any young kid's ass as a DJ.
Yeah.
He'll destroy it. So, you guys like Hex, huh?
I mean, play it like Café con Leche a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like that tribal kind of like Latin house.
A lot of people don't know, aside from his like crazy famous commercial remixes, how
for J-Lo. Didn't he do that one epic one, Waiting for Tonight?
And for Deborah
so
Cox.
Oh my God, yes.
No. Who does There's a Stranger in My House? Deborah Cox?
Oh, Tamia.
Oh, yeah.
He
did that. I think he did a massive remix of that. And
that was the whole thing too.
Yeah.
There was like the like R&B song that came out, and there was like a beautiful remix of it.
Yeah, like a 10-minute long, insanely dramatic remix.
And it would like
Hex's
sell more
thing.
than the actual single.
Yeah.
And that's what I think for you DJs, both of you do like those long ones. You could actually take a piss.
It's true.
Extended.
Yep.
So I'm gonna put this one on because I have to go to the bathroom.
You said that you don't like to be when people look at you when you're DJing.
I just don't like the way
to
things are now. How everybody faces the DJ, right? Like the younger.
I know
people.
that is a thing. It's weird. I'm like, what are you watching?
Yeah, it's really not that exciting. Trust me.
Maybe because some DJs are like these, like show.
Well, not DJs are like stars,
Yeah.
So they're like, who's
Yeah,
that?
I think it's that, but I think it's also like the European influence coming into America. Yeah, they're like more liable to do that.
way.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I've kind of gotten over it because you can't. What are you gonna do? That's what people want to do.
I would love it if you're like, could you stop looking at me, please? Like,
Can you
don't look at me.
Yeah.
I was considering making a shirt like that said that when I did Boiler Room. But then I was like, that's just kind of shitting on Boiler Room's whole thing. Their whole thing is
I'm still gonna make you the t-shirt.
We know what you're gonna get. Oh my God, you were supposed to come for Father's Day, and we were gonna like plan a whole gift for you. But
but
I lost my voice.
Yeah.
But happy Father's Day. You're a
Father's
new
Day.
dad. That's part of your
new dad.
your
So
new
cool.
thing.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be a daddy?
It's great. It's like just super fun, and I don't know. It just opens up like a. That is terrifying.
Oh my God, it is terrifying. I didn't even think of it. But it is terrifying. Shut it down.
I mean, sorry. I just had to. I couldn't resist.
That doesn't sound anything like my son.
No? Oh my God. I know. It was a little high pitched. That was the point. That was actually my childhood crying voice.
No way.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
She's been recording forever.
I've been recording. It's my first demo. So yeah, how has that changed your whole like I don't know, your hustle or like your like working in nightlife? I can imagine it's a little tricky to figure out your whole situation.
It's not really hard because
awesome.
I think it would be harder to have a 9 to 5. I think because you like the baby wakes up, somewhere around like 8 a.m. and then goes to bed around 8 p.m. So if you have a 9 to 5, when do you get to see the baby, right? And it seems like it would be really stressful, but being a DJ is kind of cool because you have all this free time, and you know, being a producer or whatever, you can kind of work on music whenever you find time. So if he goes to sleep, then I've got like 2 hours to like, or if I'm traveling. I made a lot of the last year of my music I've made on airplanes and hotel rooms.
That's awesome. Oh my God, I do the same.
It's kind of cool. Yeah, I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now when I get on a plane, I'm like, all right, I got like, you know, depending on where I'm going, but I got like this amount of time to work. And I think I've gotten more done this year than I ever have before.
Oh,
And
wow.
I was not expecting that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my friend Kenny told me that would happen. You know Kenny, the photographer, right? Do you know Kenny? He's always he's always taking pictures at like Tiki Disco and stuff. Anyway, he told me, he was like, nah, you're going to get more work done because you got to like really have a schedule and prioritize. You know, I used to wake up in the morning and just like do nothing for 3 hours and then like program a drum beat and then be like, oh, I'm gonna go outside now. And I'm gonna go spend 2 hours buying records. Around. Yeah, and then like a week later I still just have a drum beat that I haven't done anything with. This is actually so now it's like I gotta get stuff done, and it's actually been really great. So,
that's good to hear. Cause I think a lot of DJs and like artists and people in nightlife, they kind of have this stigma in their head, like it's hard to have a relationship, it's hard to have family, it's hard to do this. And also I would never, being a parent, I don't like it when other people talk to you like their experience is the universal truth about it. Right.
So
this is how it's been for me. My baby's actually really chill. I can imagine that other people would have really chill. Well, I think it's just luck, but maybe it's not. But I could see how it would be harder for other people, and I would never say to someone else like, nah, don't worry, you'll be fine.
Right.
Because you just don't know. So, but that's how it's been for me.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
That's good. That's awesome. So your
anyway,
first...
sex talk.
Wait. No. Don't look at our little things here.
Don't look at our notes.
I have a few more questions.
Yes.
Your first solo album came out in 2014, Up All Night.
Yes.
Which I actually had stayed up all night listening to on repeat. Like maybe 10,000 of your streams were from me and Gabriel staying up all night partying. We're like, awesome. What do we? Every after party we'd be like, this is the best music ever.
Oh, that's great.
And you have a new record coming out.
Yeah.
And when is that coming out?
So the vinyl is coming out in August, and then I think digitally like the first or second week of September.
Nice.
So awesome. There's a single out now, and then another single will come out in July, which will have 3 songs. So there's a lot of music, like kind of like, you know, leading up to the album coming out.
Yeah.
So your first single is Freaky, yes?
Yeah.
Which Vanessa Dow
Vanessa Dow and Nomi.
And we also is on. Do you mind if we played that for everyone now?
Yeah, let's play it.
All right, we're going to play Freaky off of Ellie's new record. Do you have a name for the album?
Oh, yeah, it's called Happiness.
Oh, I like that.
All right, Freaky off Happiness. Enjoy. You're listening to Allegedly NYC. Allegedly.
I'm
All right, that was Freaky by Eli Escobar off the Happiness album coming soon. What label?
You always make me want to dance. Always.
Oh, good.
Always.
That's the point.
You make me like want to Vogue. She like
yeah,
drops on
I
the
was like
floor.
one time we were at, where was that one place that you were working at? I was like, you were DJ, and I was like, why do I want to do a layout right now? Like, I don't understand what's happening to my body.
Through the whole night, she's like, is this Ellie DJing?
I was like, I thought it was some queen DJing.
Wait, where was this?
This was 14th Street.
Lively.
Yeah, Lively.
Yeah, I think everywhere we've.
Yeah, like I'm
you.
like, why am I doing these body movements? I don't understand what's happening.
We are big fans of that.
Yeah, like hardcore.
So your first record was on Night People, which is
my
your own label.
Yeah, we started the label for the most part to put that album out.
Nice.
Because I just had all those songs lying around, and weirdly enough, I didn't think that they were like. It's not that I didn't think they were good enough to send to labels. I just didn't think they were like everything in house music so like single oriented. Like here's a new single, here's a new EP. But I felt like they were more albumy, and So
I love that record because it's like it flows as one thing, kind of like a mixtape. It's so good.
That's what I wanted it to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were like, well, let's just put it out. James was really encouraging me to put that stuff out. So we started the label to do that. And then we were like, this is kind of fun having a record label. Let's do some other stuff. Anyway, so that's the story of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So now you have Night People.
Yeah, exactly.
Night People. And Tiki Disco, tell us a little bit about how that got all sparked up.
Tiki Disco started because Andy Pry, one of the three DJs guys, was a bartender at Roberta's Pizza back in like 2009, right? When there was like basically nothing around it. They had a little outdoor area, and he Facebooked me and Lloyd and was like, "Do you guys want to DJ in the backyard? Like, we'll have like free beer and pizza, and maybe some people will come out." And I was like, Bushwick? I I was like, no, we don't go to Bushwick.
I don't do Bushwick.
I was just like, that, you know, because that's just like my old school mentality.
Yeah.
I know, when Bushwick was like...
Well, you didn't really go to other bad neighborhoods if you weren't familiar with them, right?
Especially when you grew up in the Bronx.
Hello.
Like, you never go to Brooklyn. And in Brooklyn, they teach you never go to the Bronx.
Yeah, it was vice versa.
Right. So I was just like, you know, and Lloyd is a little more like in touch or like involved with the gentrification scene. I don't know what that means.
That was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, he's just a little bit more like...
So
basically, that just means he's younger. He's younger, and anyway. But he was like, nah, it'll be cool. Don't worry, man. It'll definitely be cool. You know, like, I think it'll be really fun. I'm sorry. Let me put my thing on silent. No, then I'll have to get up to do that.
Okay.
All right. So I was like, cool. I trust you if you say it's going to be fun. So we did it, and from what I remember, it seemed like almost everybody in the whole place was friends of ours. Mm-hmm. So it kind of felt like a backyard party.
That's cool.
And we had so much fun, and Lloyd and I kind of looked at each other like, I feel like we need to do this every summer. Mm-hmm. You know, every other Sunday. We were like, should we do it every week? Nah, maybe that's too much, blah blah blah. So we, and Andy was like, yeah, definitely, you know, and Roberta's the place was totally up for it. It was like, it wasn't the kind of it's like almost kind of fancy now, right? I mean, they still keep their like tattoo
Roberta
guys, like, you know, image, but you know, the people eating there on like Sundays look kind of like, you know, it could be like Nebraska or something. So
or Upper East Side.
Yeah, or Upper East Side. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Button up.
Yeah. So at the time though, it was like whatever you guys want to do. It was real loose, and they had like this frozen margarita machine outside that everybody would just get like dangerously drunk on.
So fun.
Yeah. So that's how it started. We did, and then the first summer was like, you know, I think maybe the most amount of people we ever had was like 150 people, 200 people, and then the second year came around, we made a little announcement. I feel like this was before Facebook invites was a thing. Mm-hmm. We just made a little announcement. We're starting up again this year, and we got there, and all of a sudden there was like a line and hundreds of people, like 600 people.
That's gorge.
It was just mind blowing because we didn't. It was just one of those. I think that'll probably be the only time in my life that I'm involved in something that happens totally organically.
Organically, yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
So and now it's, you know, like, you know, 1,500 people.
That's because you're the real deal, you know? Like, you really know how to, like, kill a party.
Last time I went to your party, this whole group of people were, like... There was, like, a baby pool or something. I don't know what was happening. But, like, I don't know. People were high or drunk as fuck. And I was like, this is a good time.
Yeah.
And it's Sunday.
Was that at Roberta's?
I don't know where I was.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it was on Melrose. Melrose.
Montrose.
Yeah, but Montrose. Yeah.
Okay, so that's where it is now.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, we've had kiddie pools out here and there.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, people are just like fucking going shit right now on a Sunday. Jesus' day.
Really
that's
cool.
awesome. You should be proud of yourself. You got T-shirts. You got merch.
Yeah. Baby pools.
Yeah. But we've never sold any T-shirts. We always just make them and give them away.
T-shirt.
It's kind of like just something we like to do once a year. Just make some T-shirts and give them to people.
Oh, that's cute. I don't
just
have
to
one.
keep it. We don't want to.
Yeah. Well.
All right. Well, next
we didn't
this
get
year.
a
Well, now we're gonna make you a T-shirt. Like, don't
talk to me.
Yeah, you can talk to me. Just don't watch me.
Okay, don't turn away.
I mean, you can watch if you want. I just don't see the point. Why did you?
Okay, well, this goes into our sex talk.
Okay.
It's actually really
topic.
Good. Yeah,
really?
it's a really good segue.
But I also wanted to talk about the tour we did with Holy Ghost.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That was so crazy.
That was.
We like shit. We kind of like were on the bottom bunks.
Yeah.
Across from each other.
It's so fun.
Yeah. Like, are each other's like life support?
Absolutely.
There was a bunch of dudes who are all sweethearts.
Yeah.
But they were like really bros.
Duties.
They were kind of like
They're
bros.
kind of bros. They were like, we would wake up to sports.
Oh my god.
Definitely sports.
It kind of smelled like socks.
Oh my god.
Right?
It smelled so weird at some point.
Yeah.
There was really a debate at who was causing the funk. It was crazy.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
You had already been on tours before.
Yeah.
I never did that before.
So what did you? Have you done that ever? It was like,
No.
like the only time.
Basically what happened was the offer came up, and I mean I'm gonna say it now because it's totally fine. But I mean they paid me the amount I make in one gig, right?
What?
But it's okay because it was like well, it's an experience. My manager was like, they're gonna expose you to a whole new group of people, you know, blah 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 blah. And I was like, well, mostly I just want to do it because I really love the movie Almost Famous, and I just want to know what it's like to be on a tour bus for a month. It seems really fun.
Did it fulfill your fantasies?
No, because no one ended up singing like Elton John songs together or
No Tiny's answer.
no, it wasn't like that. But it was still really fun.
We did have a strip club moment. Were you there?
Yeah, of course I was.
See,
there.
I was trying to flash back to it. I'm like, was Ellie there?
That was
insane.
Club was really dark.
It was kind of,
and I mean, I don't mean.
You mean
lights.
dark as light? You mean
like there was this cesarean section scar on one of the strippers.
I know it wasn't
like
glamorous.
Like a fresh.
It wasn't like Spearmint Rhino.
No.
Right. It was definitely not Spearmint Rhino.
Is that the one in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Okay. And the DJ was playing on a iMac from like 1999. It was so
like the
funny.
colorful one?
Yeah, and it was massive. It was crazy.
And of course, I created like a sisterhood. Like all the strippers come around me at some point.
It always happens. Because every time I go to strip club with Nomi, it's like, hey girl, I love your outfit.
But the funniest part is that nobody really wanted, none of the guys wanted lap dances.
Right.
Because the strippers
were.
Yeah,
it was just like, no, I don't
It was awkward.
So. It was awkward.
Wow. And then we went to another one, which is kind of bomb.
I definitely didn't go to that one.
You definitely didn't go to that one.
No.
I went with
the
Alex.
same night?
No. It was another night.
Okay.
I remember making up for that moment. And getting Alex, I'm like, okay, Alex.
Let's just
do it.
Let's cleanse what happened in the last place. Get a lap dance, please. Maybe. I remember.
But the other thing that happened on that tour was Nomi discovered Mad Men.
Oh.
Remember?
Yes.
And one time we didn't see her for 24 hours. I swear to God.
I know, because she was texting me from the bus. She's like, girl,
we did not. I was like, should I bring her food?
I know. I never.
Like, I don't know. It was so funny. And
I always like that on tour buses though. I'll have them wake me up right for sound check and then go right back.
Yeah, Andrew and Morgan were not phased. They were like, you might not see her for like a day. It's normal.
Yeah. She's on a Netflix.
What they say, they thought I was like in Narnia in my
yeah. I know. I was like, what would you see if you pushed open the whatever it's called, curtain. Anyway, but no, it was so fun, and I look back at it now, it's sort of like it was like summer camp.
It was crazy.
Right? Yeah. That's awesome.
And that's where I guess Somebody to Love Me kind of came.
Did it come out while we were on tour?
Because you were playing that all the time, and I was like, oh my God, that's so good. I love that song. You're like, I did this remix.
This is what happened. I'll tell you the story of Somebody to Love Me. For all the people who are dying to know.
Let's go. I mean, a lot of like my fans, they love that song. It plays in Greece. It plays all over the world. When I play it live,
and when you did it live, it really I said before, I have a hard time listening to my own music, but I remember seeing you do it live, and I really thought it sounded great.
Yeah.
But what happened was Mark Ronson did a song with Boy George, and I texted him and I was like, I hate you that you got to work with Boy George, because I love Boy George. And he was like, well, why don't you do a remix, man? You know, and I was like, hell yes, I'm the acapella. So he sent me the acapella. I made the remix. I sent it to him. He never wrote me back. So I guess he didn't like it. And but I started just playing it anyway because I really liked it. And then I heard you were covering it, and I was like, bingo. So that was how it happened.
That's so fucking cool.
Yeah. So thanks, Mark.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. We made a better version. I love people because people don't know that, like a lot of people that discover that song, they don't even know that it's
right.
They may have not heard that song and they're like, I love that track.
Right. Yeah.
Such a good track.
So,
yeah. Oh, so sexy. Awesome. Yeah, I love it.
You know. So would you ever do a bus tour again? If the price was right.
You have to price right.
I learned never say never about anything. That's sort of my philosophy now.
I like that.
If the price was right, sure. But if I didn't like, I will tell you that before that offer came, I got another tour offer, and I didn't like either of the artists, and I turned it down, and it was more money. But I didn't want to spend a month listening to their music.
Can you elaborate on who that may have been?
No,
please.
No.
Was it dance music?
Because you get very familiar with the group. I'm sorry, guys, I can't. You get very familiar with the music of the other artists that you're on.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know? So I was like,
and then it's embedded in your brain. Somehow you kind of like
it. It's like Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
So you're like,
it's true. It's true. Yep.
Oh my God, that sounds so familiar.
They can make you slap somebody.
or go on tour. Oh my.
There's a lot of that on tour.
Yeah.
All right, so this is our sex talk section.
All right.
Today's topic is public sex.
Okay.
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 So, I mean, have you guys had sex in public?
Yep.
What's the definition of in public? Like right there where someone
Like in
could
the
see
stoop.
you?
In the stoop. No.
I
like,
think I don't think you necessarily need to be seen, but it could be like outdoors or in a public place.
Bathroom is not public sex. Bathroom in a place where people are partying is not public sex.
Really?
I would say that's public. That's in a public place.
It is in a public place,
in a-
and people are
if it's in
waiting
a
to go in there.
Okay, we're gonna do two sections. Private public is like bathroom stalls,
Right.
bathroom airplanes, and then there's like public.
Okay, well, the beach would be one of the places, and
I've
then
done that.
a bathroom at a party, but not in a club though.
Like
Not
a
in
house
club,
party.
A house party.
Oh.
Yeah, in school, in college. So I would say
Straight college.
probably my answer is no. Those are pretty lame answers, right? The beach and a bathroom in a college.
Beach
Is
is
that
cool.
all?
What?
That's it?
I'm not convinced. I really. You
Wait.
like,
Okay,
have
I
a
have
moment
to- I
because
actually
it
wanna
took me a while to
verify.
think myself.
I
was
want to.
like-
I want to verify a rumor I heard from a little birdie.
Okay.
Oh.
I heard that you hooked up with one of the girls from the movie Kids.
I didn't hook up. She was my girlfriend.
Oh, really?
A long-term girlfriend.
Who?
Her name's Yakira. She was the girl, the virgin girl who like
Oh, yeah.
the guy Telly like stalks, and then halfway through the movie, yeah, that girl. Yeah.
Cute.
Oh.
And we were going out when she was making that movie, and I was fairly concerned that she was in child porn. Like she would be
Really?
like, they made me lie naked with this guy while they just like filmed us, and I was like, well, what's the script? She's like,
There's
no script.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Why did you
Wait,
say
how
yes?
old was she?
Yeah, how old was she?
18?
Wow.
So yeah, no, they wouldn't have done it if she wasn't 18. I don't think. I mean,
I don't know.
they had
It's Larry
people.
Clark.
They had people. I knew a lot of the people in the movie, and there were people who were younger.
Ellie's a busy man.
He's
His
so
phone is
busy.
just blowing up the whole time.
Speaking of public.
Okay, there were people who were underage, but they didn't do like sex and nudity or anything like that.
Okay.
But yeah, the whole thing just seemed really. And when I watch it, I feel like I'm watching something that like a dirty old man made just to like
I think
look at
yeah,
little
you
kids
think
with
you're
their
right.
shirts off.
Interesting.
I never liked that movie. I don't, and it has nothing to do with her being in it. I was just always like
Like exploitative.
a little exploitative and a little
That's
bit.
mostly his work, really.
Yeah,
Right?
and I also feel like the press. So I mean, this is like the early '90s or whatever it was, and I was pretty much the exact same age as everyone in the movie, and I knew a lot of the people in the movie, and I was into skating and going clubbing and all that, and I was just like, this is not how New York is. Like a bunch of kids walking around like talking like they're from the hood, and like, you know, beating up drug dealers and Washington Square Park or whatever. Come
Right.
on, you know, like I don't know. I just kind of felt like
I
it
just
was.
played hacky sack.
I mean, New
Bad
York
at
was
it, but
rough,
I
but
did.
it was like.
But it wasn't like that.
I
in the
felt like they
90s.
were kind of living out their fantasies a little bit of
Right,
being
right.
like way tough or whatever. Not that they
Right.
weren't tough. I don't know. I just felt like it was shock. It was all shock value.
It really was because
Right?
I remember it because it was NC-17, so even
Yeah,
more so. So I
yeah.
remember like when I had to say that was like when I wanted to see the movie when I was a kid. I had to say that I was going to see some other movie that was like PG, so I could sneak into that one because they wouldn't give me a ticket because I was underage.
Right.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And do you remember thinking like, whoa, this is what's going on with the older kids?
No, because I know people from that movie too, and I went to
Right,
high school with some
yeah,
people, and I was like,
yeah.
I know she ain't living like that.
Yeah.
And because we're not too far in age, so
Right,
like
right.
I'm New York, you know, 90s high school. Shit was not like that.
I remember I found myself in Harold Hunter's
yeah, yeah.
apartment, and that was like the first time I heard Wu-Tang, and I was like, I went with my girlfriends, and suddenly I wound up by myself. I guess everyone was like partying and hooking up, and I was just
Yeah.
like sitting in a corner, and I'm like, what is this amazing crazy music?
Wow.
I guess everyone was doing
That's cool.
drugs around.
That's a good
I
story.
Everyone was doing drugs.
Now that I think back, I'm like, everyone was totally like,
The house party scene in that movie is actually really accurate. And my friend Raphael that I grew up with, he had for a while an apartment above Cafe Orlin, and we would just leave the door open, and people like
Yeah.
Harold and all of them would just come in and out and, you know, do drugs and party and stuff, and it was just kind of like a lot of the kids I grew up with were latchkey kids. Is that the right expression? Kids whose parents aren't around.
Yeah.
And you would just sort of like find out whose parents were going to be away what weekend and just kind of like move into people's apartments for the weekend and do stuff you weren't supposed to do, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that seems accurate. I don't know. I just thought it was a little too much focus on shock value and like this whole idea that there's this guy who's like a virgin stalker. It's just like, give me a break.
It was kind of... Yeah, I guess it was.
Well,
anyway,
it was you know,
and a lot of people love
Disney.
it, and a lot of people are like, "I moved to New York because of kids."
Really?
Oh God, you see, it's
like,
that
really?
it's their fault.
It's between that and Party
Now we
Party
figured it
Monster.
all out.
All these kids come to New York for kids and Party Monster. I was like, guess what happened? The end of Party Monster.
Yeah. And the end of kids.
Yeah.
It's like
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you wonder why all these kids are like fucking depressed and partying. They're like,
Yeah,
and then I'm living out my fantasy. You're like, it's a film.
Yeah.
And it's fucked up.
Yeah.
And
no
like,
one was
nightlife
paying
is really
rent.
serious.
Yeah.
Like, you have to really be in control of your psyche.
Absolutely.
Right? Nightlife is kind of crazy.
It's dark.
It can be dark.
It
It
can
can
be-
be.
it
It
can be
depends
dark.
on who.
If
who's
you're searching for something, it's gonna be dark. If you're there to have a good time, it's a completely opposite
Yeah,
experience.
if you're there to hear Eli Escobar, you're on the right track.
And my hair is gonna be so frizzy by 12.
Especially in this weather.
Oh my God.
Seriously, my roots are coming in.
Okay, so back to sex talk.
Oh, yes.
So Ellie's only had public sex twice.
I don't buy it.
I'm really old, you guys. It's hard to remember everything. I'm 41.
I forget, you look like you're 12.
So I don't know.
I see giggles.
Brown don't crack.
What's his name? Armando's always like Latin like satin. I'm like, that's not an expression. You
And
just
you
made that up.
Just totally
What is
made
it?
that up.
And
Brown
it's,
don't frown.
brown don't frown.
frown.
And you have to light white right.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
So I think Ava's gonna win this whole category because she has had
Public sex.
sex like
A lot.
more than in the bedroom, I think.
Is it
No.
because you've gone out and searched like you
No.
like it? No.
No, it just
happens.
It just happens. It just happens. Because I I was reflecting, and I was because when I was like I was thinking about public sex, I was like I could contribute to that. No, it's just like it was always spur of the moment. Like one time I was at Macy's and we were buying a suit, and like I was like, you want
looking good in that
yeah,
suit.
you look great in that suit, and we ended up fucking in Macy's. And then I was at the Timberland store. I was like, oh, those Timbs are hot.
You
So we
mean
ended up-
VIM?
No, it was an actual Timberland store. That's how the keeping it real goes wrong. And then one time it was in a graveyard, and I was like, that was,
A graveyard.
yeah, I fucked in a graveyard, and it was bats. I was like, how goth is this?
That's awesome.
It was
I
pretty
just
cool.
remembered another one, the graveyard thing.
Yeah.
The woods is public.
Very
Yes.
public.
But the thing is, there's no one around. You guys.
But you
I'm
never
really,
know.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you down. I feel like I'm gonna really let you down with sex talk. And I've been.
Sexo just went limp.
You guys. I've been.
Oh no.
Well, I've been married for 8 years.
Oh, sweet.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, you still have
And-
sex.
Yeah, you made a baby. You have a
No, of
newborn.
course we still have sex. I'm just saying, like, I'm not out there like trying to discover new things, like with people in public places. That's all.
You mean
Right.
you don't have this? What is this sex toy called? The Club Vibe.
What's the Club
Club
Vibe?
Vibe 2. It's like a vibrating panty. It's an award-winning, revolutionary, wireless, rechargeable, remote control vibrator that is inserted into a panty.
Yep.
And it's meant for like, your girl wears it outdoors, and you control the
I want that.
remote.
That's cool. See, that's spark up shit.
Okay, and it also
Wow.
That's awesome.
it has a velvety finish.
So you're not actually touching.
No.
No,
You're
it's
just
like
pushing a
you're
button and
controlling
getting
it.
them.
Like you're like she's in the kitchen and you're like
Oh, that's dope.
at the studio.
Yeah.
Right.
It has 5 intensity levels, which allow you to
Wow.
use the vibrator in a loud atmosphere or in a quiet place. And it pulses to club music.
Dude, this is your shit.
So like the faster the music gets, the more it'll.
Right. And you can
You know
like
what?
charge that
That's
setting. So
good
next time your
marketing.
wife, she's like, I'm not going to go to your gig. You're like, well,
Forget about
What about
t-shirts,
this?
t-shirts at Tiki Disco. Just wear
that's genius merch.
Yeah.
That's good merch.
When did this come out?
Yesterday,
I
right?
don't know.
No, I was kidding.
I feel like this has been around, but I think this is a new function. The DJ.
Okay.
I thought I should wear this when I'm DJing. Just like,
and I'll be like,
I'm like,
I'm
don't
like,
talk
no.
to me, and I'll wear the shirt. Don't talk to the DJ. She's busy.
Amazing.
she's super busy.
Wow.
Have I had public sex?
Yeah, you have. Want me to tell
I
you?
one time I was like, I had this boyfriend. We were just like obsessed with each other, and we would just anywhere we would just go crazy.
Yeah.
So we're walking on the street, and one time we're like just on fire, and we go in between two parked cars, and we're getting it on.
Yeah.
And then he goes to come, and I move out of the way. He comes all over the hood of the car,
God.
and all I couldn't
Like a
till this
super
day I can't stop thinking about what
Cars?
that person's day was like when they
The
went.
next
Oh, he's like,
day.
oh, dude. Because you work up, you hope that your car's not stolen or you have a flat. It's like, damn, I got cum in my car. Like, what the fuck?
God.
That's really funny.
I know that.
Well, I worked at a record store for a little while in the late 90s, and when you would open up the store, you'd have to, it was downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a stairway that went down, and it was like a dark kind of private-ish stairway area. So I cleaned up lots of that sort of stuff
Oh no way!
multiple times.
Oh
Yeah.
my
No way.
God.
It was
That was
really
Nomi.
You paid
the
your
worst.
dues.
Actually, you owe
yeah.
him, you owe him dinner. That was all you.
So you've never had sex on a plane? You take so many
No.
planes.
No, is it?
You're always
really
alone,
awesome?
probably, right?
I'm always alone.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever? Are you the
Plane?
the
No,
mile high
I'm
club?
afraid of heights.
That's pathetic.
No, I honestly, it's like the thrill, like you said. Like, I don't know, it's like that last minute, like that passion, that crazy passion, and you're like, fuck, we're not gonna wait until we get to Brooklyn. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, oh, McDonald's. Not that I ever went to McDonald's.
Ew.
See, no, I don't eat meat. You know, I don't.
You don't eat me either.
No, I don't eat meat. No.
Vegans.
Yeah.
I just.
But I
eat
don't, bathrooms, I'm like one of those people when I go to a public bathroom, I take a piece of toilet paper and put it on my hand.
Yeah.
So that everything I touch, I don't get germs. Like, I don't
Totally,
know if
I'm
I
the
can
same
have
way,
sex
actually.
in public bathrooms.
I feel like at Sound Factory, I like own that whole bathroom.
Oh my God.
Every
Really?
stall.
Because it was like a unisex bathroom, remember?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They had that at the tunnel too. Did you ever go to the tunnel?
Oh, yeah.
I remember the tunnel bathroom walking in the first time being like,
Oh my god.
just
No.
mind blown.
We went to the tunnel for our prom.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, for real?
Like, we
Yeah.
were on a boat for our prom, and then we were like, fuck, this party sucks. And we were like,
Oh, you
waiting
went.
and waiting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It
we
wasn't
went on
like your
prom
high
night.
school. was
No,
like,
no.
okay.
I
We
mean, I
went
wish.
after.
Yeah.
As soon as the boat like docked, we were
Right.
like, dude, to the tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one night Nomi and I were at the tunnel. And she looked gorgeous, and we're both having a kiki time, and she's like dancing like frantically, and I'm like
On a cage.
on a cage, and I'm like, work, bitch, and I'm like doing like, you look sick. Meanwhile, I didn't know she was getting like harassed by
I was
some
being attacked by a
guy.
man.
Oh, no.
I was dancing, and then at a certain point, he comes behind me, and he's like ramming me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
get the fuck. I'm pushing him
no.
off
Yeah.
me. And I'm like, Ava, help. And she's like, you look amazing. You look amazing. And I'm like,
Am I supposed to laugh at this story?
Yes.
Oh,
no,
sorry.
No. That's terrible.
I know.
No,
it's
but
awful.
she got out. She's fine.
I got
Okay,
out.
okay.
I got his number after.
Yeah, they were dated for 6 months. It's fine.
All right. Well, sex talk is gonna go limp now because Ellie is like an angel sent from
Sorry,
heaven.
guys. Oh.
But he did bring us a special gift today.
Yes,
You know, we have our tradition of playing freestyle music.
absolutely.
Oh. Every episode?
Every episode, we
Nice.
end with a
Every
freestyle
episode.
song.
Yeah, always.
And Ellie has recommended, what is it?
Which one are you going to play? Play Fallen Angel.
That's the one. I mean,
Yeah.
that video,
Oh,
It's
yeah.
amazing.
It's the best.
he texted me like, the video is awesome. And I was like,
There's also another video of him doing it in like a public access TV studio with just dancers that's almost just as good.
We'll post that.
Okay.
I mean, the dance moves.
Yeah.
And he's in a wrestling ring.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And it
his
says Jerome's.
Jerry curl is so juicy.
Where did that come from? What is Jerome's
I
boxing
don't
ring?
know.
It's
I
probably in the
don't know.
Bronx.
And this is like, honestly, I really like 80s freestyle. Like once the 90s hit, I kind of, but this is like a, I think
Okay,
it's
what's
from
the
90s.
difference between 90s and 80s freestyle?
Oh, it's such a huge difference.
I know there is a huge difference. I think
They're more on key.
Like you got too good.
so-
Get out of here.
Yeah, the more on key, like I want it to sound like
It's too
basically
produced.
a guy was making a beat in his house and then knocked on his next door neighbor's door and was like, "Can your daughter come sing real fast?"
Yes.
And
Yeah,
it didn't
yeah.
give
Yeah,
a,
totally
it doesn't
that.
matter if she sang in key or whatever.
No key at all.
No.
There's no E.
I
There's
mean,
no
Lisa
C.
sang in key.
Sometimes you're being too kind. You're being way too kind. You're so kind. See, this one's too kind.
You're right. In the ballads, it was kind of like, oh, are you sure you want to do that?
There are sometimes I listen to that, and when she hits that high note, I was like, no, do it.
Or it's like, yes. Yes.
But the difference is that in the 90s, they started singing more on key, and I think the production got like more, I don't know, just like not as hard. Like in the 80s, is like those 808
it's
drums.
a specific like instrument. There's specific machines that were used. Like even now, I think I tried to do a freestyle song, and it was a disaster. That's how White Horse came out. It was
Really?
We originally were making a freestyle track, and we did this whole like bootleg freestyle track, like with the bells. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun. I'm like, this is awful. And then I was like, actually put the Hex Hector J-Lo remix. I'm like, let's make it more like that. And then it was like a mix of freestyle and that.
That's so cool.
Is that Waiting for Tonight, that remix?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. They I think what they used to do is like they would just buy one synthesizer, turn it on, and it would be like, let's hit strings. And then they wouldn't like mess with the envelopes or the filters or try to get it to sound right. They'd be like, this sounds perfect.
Yeah.
And it was just the most generic,
Yeah, you can't redo that.
No.
I feel like you can maybe get close to it if you really want. Maybe you have those beats hiding. I feel like you have a whole bunch of beats.
You have like a catalog like Prince in like a vault, don't you?
I did a boot like 12-inch record that had a freestyle remix of Me and You by Cassie. And it's in record stores and probably on YouTube and stuff, so you can hear that.
Okay,
that was my attempt to try to do freestyle. It probably doesn't sound
That sounds amazing.
We'll love it.
I love that song.
Yeah, that song's so good.
I mean, you see, this is where Ellie and I get along.
Oh, you don't like that song?
Ava hates pop music.
I hate pop music.
Really?
No, that's not true.
You do. You hate Ariana Grande.
Like current pop music?
Yeah, current pop.
Oh, okay.
No, you hate Maya.
No, I like Maya. It's just I didn't like it at the time. The thing is, when Nomi gets a new album, she sings it every 5 fucking seconds. And she's like, and the thing is, like, it came out on a Tuesday. By Wednesday, she knows the whole shit. So
right.
It's a whole month
And
of me
so do
listening
you.
to that shit.
Yeah. Were you more like an alternative girl?
Yeah.
So I was really into alternative
Oh
too.
my god, you have no idea.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up listening to a lot of new wave, like Cure and Depeche Mode.
So a lot of people don't know in like New York, like Asians and Spanish people loved new wave. Tons. Right? And
I know. I'm not in. I didn't know it existed.
I listen to
Until I met
DRE.
you.
Yeah, and it was always like I grew up listening to new wave, so like it's in my
I
Which
just
is
saw
kind
the
of
Cure on Monday.
freestyle-y.
It is because
Especially Depeche Mode.
Depeche Mode, like Information Society,
Pet Shop Boys.
Information
Society.
Yeah.
I mean, Information Society is freestyle.
Yeah, it is.
Basically,
It really is.
That
Running
song.
is freestyle.
I'm
Yeah.
like, can
Yeah.
we remake that song?
Yeah.
Oh,
Running.
Definitely.
I've been dying to
you
remake
heard
that.
it here first, publicly.
Like the best way to remake it would be to like not make it freestyle.
No, exactly.
You'd have to reinvent it.
No.
Yeah.
The Eli
Yeah.
Escobar.
But really?
Wow.
I need more freestyle. I like that's my challenge for both of you is to make some epic
Freestyle track. Okay.
I mean,
That should
just
be
go
easy.
with
it'll
that.
start
I'm
off
just
that way,
putting
and then
into
we'll
the
make fun of
universe
it,
right
and
now.
it'll turn to something else.
Have you ever noticed how every freestyle song ever has the same chord progression? Dun, 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 dun,
All
dun,
of them.
dun, dun, dun,
And it's
dun,
5
dun,
minutes
dun.
of that, by the way.
It's just 3 notes every time.
For like 10 minutes, though.
I mean, I love
Like
that shit.
a full 10.
Yeah.
I could go to the bathroom. You all DJs go to the bathroom because that first 3 minutes is gonna be that. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh my god. All right, so the song today is what?
Fallen Angel.
Fallen
My
Angel by Koro.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Ellie.
Done?
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you. This is
It's
really
really,
fun.
really fun.
Yeah,
Thank you
We
so
have to
much
have you on
for-
Of
again.
course. Okay.
We're
Yeah,
gonna go
let's
to your
do
party
it.
tonight, so put us
Yeah.
on the guest list, please.
Okay.
Here's Fallen Angel by Koro.
Allegedly NYC.
So give it up, baby. Hit it.
You're listening to Allegedly NYC.
Allegedly.
Why couldn't you come to me, knowing I'll be there for you? Is love so strong? Why can't you turn around and look for me, my baby? I love you. Don't do the things you do. My fallen angel, my heart with love. Make your body turn away. So give it up, baby. Don't do the things you do. My fallen angel, my heart with love. Make your body turn away. So give it up, baby.
You're listening to Allegedly NYC.
Allegedly.